You're listening to the God Life Culture Podcast, where faith
and what's trending collide. Welcome back to the latest episode of the God Life Culture Podcast. This is Eddie.
What's up, everyone? This is Miguel, and we are so excited that you are tuned in for another episode of the God Life Culture Podcast. If this is your first time listening or watching, we want to say welcome to the God Life Culture Podcast. Thank you so much for being a part of our podcast journey. If you need to catch up and this is your first time listening, go back and check out all of our previous episodes. You can listen to over 100 episodes, right, that we have available to you. And, if you are a returning listener and you may have missed one or two there, take a minute and go back and catch up. And, again, thank you for being a part of our podcast journey.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, when you say things like over 100 episodes, I remember at the end of last year, we talked about like how many minutes and hours we have like recorded and banked on the pod. It's just really crazy because it doesn't feel like that. It's like one of those things that you do as a hobby, or you do, like obviously we understand the importance of the magnitude of what we're doing.
But it's something you enjoy.
It's one of those things that you enjoy that once you sit down to look at the statistics and the numbers of it, it feels different. It feels like a lot bigger, and even under that same like train of thought and mind, individually, we've spoken about things here and there that I think that we find interesting, or that we do, or like certain like skills or like talents, if you want to place it like that, that we have. But I think that especially since, I feel like the last couple of weeks we've spoken to this whole thing about like identity, and about like being multifaceted, and there's a lot about people that's more than just being a speaker or being a teacher. There's things that make up who you are that maybe the majority of the people around you may not even know those things about you. Some may know certain things about you, but not other things about you. And they're like little, like cool little fun facts about yourself. And I feel like that's a good thing that we should speak about today. Like little fun facts about ourselves individually that maybe you don't even know about me, or maybe I don't even know about you, even though we're going like 11 years strong. There's certain things that come up. So like one of the things that I have on my list is that I took French for over 4 years. And I can...
You said over 4 years?
Over 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I took French over 4 years. I can give you days of the week. I can give you numbers. I can introduce myself. I can ask you when is your birthday.
So can you go down the days of the week from what you remember?
I can go down the days of the week. I can go... I'm trying to think. I was trying to go back into... colors as well, but then it gets fuzzy, because then the thing is that when you're learning French, a lot of times, I speak fluent Spanish as well, things kind of like merge and like blend in and stuff like that, and then you like remember, like you'll think, oh yeah, that sounds familiar because it's a Spanish word, but in Spanish it means something completely different. There's like things like little like I remember like there's this song that one of the French teachers taught us that randomly every once in a while will like pop up in my mind, and I'll find myself singing it. Like I'll remember like some of the words, at least the tune of the song, and it reminds me, I had this one classmate who was very extra. She was real extra, and then she would sing that. She actually had a good voice to sing as well, but she would sing because it was like one of those things where like at the end of the week we would sing the song, but she would do it in a way to be just so extra, but on purpose. Like, I want the teacher to notice that I know the song and I can roll that R from the back of your throat, to really get that sound in there. So it's like little things like that. I'm just like, I don't know how many people would know. I'm never will say I'm fluent in French. I will never say that.
So say something in French, anything.
I'll be like, je m'appelle Eddie. I'll be like, ¿cuál es la date de tu anniversaire? I'll be like,
no, you didn't.
I'll be like, I don't know.
What did you ask me? What is the date of my anniversary?
Birthday, really.
Birthday.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like stuff like that.
I understand French.
Yes, because you took listening French for 4 years. No, but it's like very basic. But it's like, it's like one of those things where like if you're like watching Beauty and the Beast, and you have like I forgot the name of the kid of the character that's the candelabre, or the candle guy. What do you call that? The thing with the three things.
Yes,
the
the candlestick. I don't remember his name.
He's not a candlestick. That's a name. it's fine or whatever. You know, like he's like talking to the duster, and he's like talking to her in like French and stuff like that. So like little things like
Lumiere.
that. Lumiere. There we go. So they say little thing. But what is he? He's a what?
He's a light.
Okay, no.
That's what it's. He's a.
It's something like that. I feel like it's like candelabra.
Candelabra.
Yeah,
That's
you see, there we go. I had it right. So like you like pick up like little things here and there, but honestly, if I was to speak to a person who is fluent, I'm pretty sure I would be lost, or I'll like pick up on those little things. Like I said, like remind me of like Spanish words.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of same thing with like Portuguese. Like Portuguese, is something I did not take Portuguese. I'm not fluent, but I have a lot of I have customers, I have clients for my job who are from Brazil, and they speak Portuguese to you, and you pick up on it, like pick up on little things like that. So, how many different languages you know?
English.
Yeah.
Spanish.
Yes.
Spanglish.
Yes. Holy
Shade.
Spirit. Let me stop. Not shade.
Yeah. That's it.
Right.
I sometimes wish I took another language. Mm-hmm. I'm still trying to master the ones I know.
Aren't we all?
But yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's very.
Have you ever been in a situation where you needed to speak French?
No, thank God, because if I did, I would be a hot mess.
Right.
You know, it's even like now with Spanish. Like I'm super mega fluent in Spanish.
Yeah.
You know, I translate at church all the time. Like if we have someone who's like preaching or speaking in English, you know, I'll do the Spanish or vice versa. But there's something about when you are presented with someone who that is their language. Mm-hmm. Like even if I'm speaking to someone who is like straight from like a Spanish speaking country, or even like I had clients as well that were from Spain, like their Spanish is a little different. So I always get intimidated by people who their first language is Spanish. It always makes me like, I need to like speak a little bit more proper. I don't know. Like it's like this like weird thing, even though I'm like absolutely fluent in it.
Yeah,
so.
I feel you. I mean, one thing for me that I feel like maybe some people don't know, right? Mm-hmm. Or the extent of it, is that I do love like clothes and fashion and all of that. Mm-hmm. So I think growing up as a kid, I always loved like jackets. Yeah. Right, like different cool like type of jackets, and I remember like when I got like my first denim jacket, and it was I was like 6, I think it was, and it was at Disney World, and it had like the Disney characters in the back, and I wore that jacket for years.
So you were 17.
Yeah, but I got rid of it. But I remember even as a kid, like doing sketches of like 4 or 5 people and like jackets that they would wear, like different color pants, and I would do that. And at the same time, sketching like houses and like different houses and like designing the outside of houses and then like buildings. Like I remember like doing like city landscapes, but the problem was that I couldn't draw. So like it sounds very fancy, right? But in reality, it was very sad. Like I just like, could not draw. What it was. I knew what it was.
But if somebody else looked at it,
I mean, they would be able to tell. You know what I mean? It's not that bad. It's just not up to par to what an artist, you know what I mean? Like my dad can draw really well.
Yes.
So compared to like what my dad can do, you know, like he does graffiti like on paper.
Yeah.
You know, he's not out vandalizing.
Yeah, he's not vandalizing the walls of your.
No, we just have to be clear. Just. But
in 1973, no, imagine.
He was 3. But the idea of like sketching and like drawing and creating like that, although I wasn't good at drawing, let's say, I just had an interest in creating that way. You know, and it's funny because I just think there are those individuals out there that as a kid, you know, you try to find like what is it that you like, or like your hobbies and your interests, and you may not be like so good at something, but that ultimately will kind of, you know, help you in another area of your life and creating in a different way. You know what I mean? So I think I always had like a creative mind, or an eye for clothes or clothing or things that would go together, but to actually draw it out and map it out, no.
Yeah, I think that's cool, and it is true. That is something that I didn't know the side of you that, you know, you have like that eye and you like really like cool pieces that you put together. The sketching thing is something that's new, that I wasn't aware of, and I think that also, you know, it's something that I did a lot as well. I would sketch a lot of like clothing and stuff like that, and then I would like, you know, do lines, like, you know, it'll be like 3 people that I would sketch out, and then I'll be like, all right, they're from the same collection, like they're, you know, from the same universe of whatever it was that I was putting together. You know, it was just like one of those things that, like you said, I feel like as creatives, especially like young creatives, you're like trying to find your like avenue, and you're like like what? Like I just want to like put stuff together.
Yeah.
Like what can I do? And I also think that it's also like when you're also limited with resources, you know, like I wasn't going to music school, so I didn't have that outlet. I wasn't going to theater camp, so I didn't have that outlet. So like I had paper at home. So what would I do? I would like color and I would draw and I would do things like that as well. And you know, those are the things that as creatives you're just trying to find an outlet. Something that I do know how to do that I try to keep on the low, simply for strictly like selfish reasons, because I feel that not that I'm amazing at this. I just want to preface that by saying that, but just because I feel like once people know you can do that, they'll ask you to do it a lot.
So are you sure you want to say this?
I mean, it's fine. It's I can cook, you know, so it's like one of those things where
you can cook.
You know, I can cook. Don't even play yourself. You know, it's like one of those things that is kind of like I don't enjoy cooking.
Right.
I enjoy watching people eat the food that I made.
Talk about your lasagna, your mac and cheese.
Yeah, so like I like stuff like that. I've made like pernil, which is like a very thing that I'm proud of. I feel like as a Puerto Rican, you know, it's kind of like, especially in the family that I grew up in, where like my grandfather was the one that cooked in all like the holidays, and the pernil it's like a staple in like family gatherings.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I'll do stuff like that, like the turkey, Thanksgiving. I'm always making it as well, but it's like one of those things where you don't want, you know, too many people to know.
Yeah, because then at the next church function, they're asking you to make 4 trays of.
Yes, and that sounds horrible. That I should have not said that, but it is. You know, it's just like
it's pressure too.
Yeah,
for me, I think I would feel pressure.
Yes, it's also like, pressure. You know, because everybody's palate is not the same too. So it's kind of like, you know, you think you make a slamming lasagna, somebody else was like, oh, it was too watery, oh, it was too dry, and you know, there's a criticism that you have to face, but it's also the responsibility of. I also like that it's something that I do for people that are my people, you know, so it's like I'm not going around cooking for everybody and their grandmother. Like that's you know, I'm cooking for the people that are my circle, you know, that are gonna be at my function or you know, stuff like that. So I feel like it's a special thing that it's like one of those things that I'm not sharing with everyone. Yeah, and that's okay. You can have those things that you don't do with everybody else. So I
mean, so I guess those things that you don't do in front of people or for everyone else, for me, would be that I'm always singing. Always. My wife can tell you I am always singing, but I don't think I can sing. I don't think I have a voice to sing. I mean, I think I have potential. If I had a vocal coach, I think I could do something.
Yes,
hit me up if you but
listen,
no,
hit us both up. We'll start doing duets.
You can sing?
No, I didn't say that. I said hit us both up.
Just like
coach us, you know, and doing stuff.
So
I can hold the
think yes, you can. You can. Yes, I was. Put him again.
No, don't put me on the roster.
But you can. I think you can.
Okay,
yeah. So
thank you.
I don't. So I'm in a different category, but I'm always singing. But I'm like extra. So and then I think this ties in with something else, that I love music.
Yes,
right.
You do.
So
yeah,
when it comes to music, like, people can listen to a song, they listen to the song. I'm listening to the song. I'm listening to the instruments. I'm listening to the background vocals. I'm listening to the effects. So if I'm singing the song, I can sing the song like the lead person is singing. Then I'll jump into the backgrounds and what the background vocals are doing. And then the effects or the echoes, right? So, you know, it's just something that I like. But when it comes to music, I can probably like recite lyrics to songs like randomly. I get like, you know, I'm pretty good at knowing the lyrics, knowing like they do verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. They end the song. Like I'm, you know, pretty good at knowing like the structure of the song. And these are just like random things that are in my head, you know, when it comes to like music. But I'll also, when a song is coming out or an album's coming out, I know the whole trajectory.
Yes,
like I'll follow that artist, you know, in their creation, the behind the scenes looks, the interviews, every single interview they're doing, talk show, whatever they're doing, I'm watching, listening, you know, so these are like those moments where we're in conversation talking about something. I'll be like, no, did you know that before he released that song, this happened and that happened and he had to go through this, that, and the other thing. And, you know, it's just something that I enjoy, you know, researching, looking up, and, you know, just about music. So.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. And I think that's something that is true, that I think that if anybody's coming out with new music or there's something happening, I know that I can count on you to be like, hey, did you hear what's coming out? You're like, yeah, because, you know, and then you give me the whole backstory. So I think that's pretty cool. Something that music is definitely something that I like. and I enjoy. And I think that especially through, once again, creativity and all that other stuff, and like the inspiration that you can get through music, it's definitely something that I enjoy. Honestly, any type of day, any type of music, it can be rock, it can be, maybe if you do good country, I'll listen to that too, a rap, ballads, Spanish music. I love Spanish music as well. But something that I definitely find interest in, that I go through this a lot and people don't see me with it, but I love to read. I am constantly always reading a story or reading something, and it's like my wife doesn't like to read, but she likes to live through the books vicariously through me. So it's like if she'll find out I'm reading a book, she'll be like, oh, okay, so what's going on? So talk to me about it. So it's like, all right. So then I'll tell her the story up to whatever chapter I'm at. And then the next day she's like, okay, so what do you happen in the development of it? So it's always been a good thing. And I think it's one of those things too, like, once again, going back to my traumas, it's like it's a resource that I had, it was one of those, like, I may not have had the latest PlayStation that came out, or I maybe wasn't going to like certain things, as a kid, but there was one thing that I could always count on, which is I can grab a book and read. And it was something that I thoroughly did enjoy, and I still enjoy to this day. I think I've mentioned on a podcast or two ago, where there's times where I'll just go to Barnes and Noble. I've gone to Barnes and Nobles, grab the book off the shelf. Oh, this looks pretty cool. I'll sit down and I'll read it. Yeah. And then if I like it, I'll buy the book, or I'll find it online and stuff like that, or whatever. But reading is cool. I think it's a really good thing.
And we read differently, because I'm also a reader, and I think people know that about me. But,
yes.
You like to read more fantasy, right?
I like I think that I don't like the books you like. I think like the books you like.
So I'm more of like the self-help, motivational, autobiography. I can read.
No, I like a story.
You definitely like a story.
Yes.
I'll do a story if it's like a true story, and it's like from the author's perspective, or they did something kind of creative to bring it about. Yeah. But I'm actually trying to get into reading a little more
in my realm.
In your realm, I guess you could say fiction, right? And doing that, adding that to it. But one thing that I do enjoy is mythology. So that kind of fits into a lot of, I guess, storytelling and reading. I remember first learning about it once I was in school, like, that they did that in school, and I was hooked like ever since. Like read the Percy Jackson series and like different books like that. I have like just random encyclopedias at my house. I have like an encyclopedia like this big on like all different types of mythologies that I'll just every now and then pick up. I have a book that's all just, like the stories, that are in there of the epic heroes and all of that. Like that's something that I really enjoy. Yeah. Like I'm just weird. Like I have like the Greek names of the gods, and then I'll know like the Roman names of the gods.
Because there is a difference.
Yeah. So, all of that. So that's something that I've definitely enjoyed. And anytime they have like, films or movies that they put out about, those stories or anything like that, I'll watch it. We had some good ones over the years, and it's something that, I have an interest in.
Yeah, and I think it's it's like one of those things, because I feel like there may be people that are like, oh, mythology, come over, like how dare you like have an interest in that. And I just think that it's really like the storytelling of a lot of things, and it's also cultural, like that. Those when you're learning about mythology, you're also learning about certain cultures and what they believed in and what they did and certain traditions and stuff like that. That you can like those things as well.
And it's entertaining.
And there's overlapping if you want to get spiritual, because then
it'll help you understand the stories in the Bible. Like every culture has a Noah's Ark, and they have an Adam and Eve, and they have a fall, and
all of that.
Don't make me get.
I just felt it. I just felt like somebody already judging us. We're like, oh, you guys are into like, yes. We're like, but it's not.
You can't tell me about the fall of man or Adam and Eve in the garden and Eve talking to the serpent. You know what I mean? But you want to look at me sideways for reading, Odysseus on his journey back home? No.
Listen, I get all of that. I think, it's just part of those things, which is there are things that we find like entertaining and we find interesting and intriguing as well. And obviously, as people of faith and, followers of Christ and stuff like that or whatever, there are certain things that we can also like find the overlapping. And, when you think about like Greek and Roman culture, these are things that are also mentioned in the Bible as well. And it gives you a better view and understanding of certain things or certain times as well. And, there's things that, like you can also understand why certain gospels are written a certain way. And, how, like when when something is directed to the Greek, the people from Greece and stuff like that, whatever, and why is it specifically in the form that it's formed, and why is it hitting certain points that it's hitting? It's important, and it's good, and it's I can get into that also, but I'm not going to as well. And I think that something that I think other people can maybe find, like, I think it's like one of those things that's borderline. Depending on where you come from, people will be like, I don't understand why you like that type of thing. Is anime. I'm really, I'm a late bloomer when it comes to anime. I think it was like one of those things that I really got into in my late 20s. I wasn't, like, I knew of like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that or whatever, but it wasn't really something that I was into until very later in life. And I'm not even into that, but like the other stuff as well. And, those are also things that is like, I'm not walking around with my anime shirt. I'm not wearing my anime hoodies. I'm not repping for the shows I like. That's just not what that's not my flow. There's people that are like that. That's really cool. Good for you. But people looking at me wouldn't think that. Like they would. That's not something that I. Hopefully, not hopefully. That I don't think I give off. That I'm like, I like the shows. I watch a lot of them, but whatever. My free time, and it's another thing that you just do, that's an interest, that's a hobby that you like really look into. I think honestly, I think I'm a consumer of entertainment, period. I'm the type of person that I'll sit down and watch a UFC fight, but I'll also watch anime, and I'll also watch something like The Walking Dead, but I'll sit there and watch a reality show as well. It's just like I'm a consumer of entertainment. Excuse me. And that's one of the things that I find interesting.
Yeah. I tried
at one time.
That one time that you sent me one that said, you were like, hey, try, pick from these two. And
you picked the wrong one.
I picked the wrong. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's my thing.
Which is fine.
I don't think I could do it.
It's fine. It's fine. It's like, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's like there's certain people that are like really into sports, and there's people that are not into sports.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
And then I couldn't watch like Pokemon or Dragon Ball Z or Digimon growing up.
Religious reasons.
So, for religious reasons. So,
Digimon. I haven't heard Digimon in woo. Yeah, that's funny.
I watched it on the low.
It's okay.
No, but I actually didn't. I guess maybe because of that, I didn't watch those shows. That maybe it didn't like develop into like that interest didn't develop because I really wasn't exposed to it.
I get it.
But yeah. Go ahead.
No. It was good. I think it was gonna derail the whole conversation. No, it's fine. No. I was gonna say, like, looking back now, like like looking at it like a Digimon or like a Pokemon type of situation. Do you feel like it was like mass hysteria, like people just like gathering together to call these things? Like I remember like Power Rangers at a time was like a bad thing as well. Like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Everything. So bad.
Did we just go down? We just.
So I think like everything has its moment where it's bad.
Okay.
And I think it depends on the culture and the people, and who's saying what.
Yeah.
Because there are people that are saying if you listen to Maverick City, it's a problem. You know what I mean? So of course, if we compare that to Pokemon, you definitely ain't watching that. So I think it's. Everyone's always going to have their thoughts and opinions of what they believe and what God told them. You know what I mean? So I think it's up to you to kind of know for your life and your conviction and your feeling and relationship with God to know what's right, what's not, I think at the time there was just a lot circulating about like, I think just, with the fact that it was monsters and the fact that, you know what I mean? And I think that the transformation that they would do and like little things like that. And I think
Evolutions.
Yeah. And I think that, when you're not exposed to that and then something like that comes out, it's almost like, whoa, you know what I mean? But like you said, then we have individuals today that will sit and watch Walking Dead and it's not a problem, right? Or something else or mythology, you know what I mean? And it's not a problem,
Yeah. No, I get it. And I think that it's just, it's like one of those things. And what I was going to say was at the end of the day, something you said was very important. It's an individual conviction as well at times.
Yeah.
There's certain people, like I know people who don't do anything Disney. Like anything Disney is like, no, eso del diablo type of situation. And I feel like if that's what you feel and that's where you're like at or whatever, that's a personal choice and that's fine. Somebody else may like Winnie the Pooh and not think that that's that horrible of a situation. You may try to want to like if you have basis and reason to like try to educate them, you maybe can. But sometimes there's things that is kind of like God is working with you in that area with you, and it doesn't affect the other person, and that's not for them, you know. And those are like one of those are those weird places where sometimes what God wants for you is different from what God wants for somebody else.
And that's okay.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's not for you to go and like start bashing people's cars that have like a Disney sticker on it.
Right. In the name of the Lord.
In the name of the Lord.
One thing that I think a lot of people don't know about me is that when I was younger, I was like a video gamer, like very much into video games. And it was like Sega at the time. So like Sonic, all those games,
Street Fighter,
all of them.
Mortal
then
Kombat.
It turned into PlayStation, and that was kind of the end after that, right? Because for me, I was the type that was playing for hours, as what my parents tell me, right?
Do you have
according to
recollection
them,
of this?
I mean, I do remember like coming home from school and like rushing to play and wanting to play, right? But I also love like those games where like you could create your own worlds or like be in your own, you know what I mean? Love that, right? I also love like racing games, car racing games. And that was like my thing too. But I remember my parents saying that they had to start like kind of limiting the amount of time I would play because that's all I wanted to do. You know, which I'm glad that they did. You know what I mean? Because that's not cool either.
Anything in excess is too much. It's not good.
And but I think after that is when then I started reading, started writing, and start like discovering other things too that then I really didn't want to like play video games all the time until eventually as I got older, like I don't ever play.
Do you
anymore.
even have games on your phone?
No. But you asked that question knowing the answer because your kids ask me all the time what games I have, and I'm like, I don't have any.
But it's just showing character progression. You went from like
but like the notes section of my phone is filled with stuff that I've written. I have PDFs on my phone. I have like ebooks on my phone. But yeah, no games. I should download a game. Any game recommendations?
Write them in the comments.
You know, I have music apps. You know what I mean? So
you have creative apps too, like creating stuff.
Yeah.
And like, listen, it's fine.
But that's something again that I think just through the years, I lost interest in it. You know, but it was something that definitely growing up as a kid, I still have
a.
If I were to sit,
because
and open the door for the opportunity.
No, but I've seen you play with my kids. And the video games and like the Smash Brothers and the racing and the stuff like that or whatever, and you get into it.
Oh yeah.
So it's still something that's there.
Yeah. I think after playing with your kids for some time, I debated on the idea of getting a Switch. Right. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Right. The Switch. And but I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I should do it. Like I feel like that's opening a door. But let's see.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's like, it's one of those things. I feel like you grow out of it as well at times. I'm the type of person that I go through seasons. So I'm not really, I think I've outgrown the season of playing on consoles. I'll play with my son, my oldest son, who's really into like video games and stuff like that. But I'm more of like every once in a while, like a cool like game will come out and I'll like download it on my phone and then I'll have a period of time where I'm like playing it.
And how do you hear about these new games? Like, I don't even know how that happens.
Random. Like, I don't know. Like maybe I'll just open the app one day. Like I'll be like waiting at an appointment or I'll be like waiting for my car to get fixed. I'm kind of bored. I'm like, let me see if a new game came out. And then I'll get like hooked for a couple of weeks when my wife is yelling at me like, throw that game out.
Right.
And then it's over. Like right now, currently, I have games on my phone, but I'm not currently playing any of them. So, it's like one of those things that you go up and down with. Yeah. And, at the end of the day, I think that these are the things that you can like whip out as conversation starters. Sometimes you find yourself like maybe meeting somebody for the first time or being like at a function, whereas like people that usually don't really talk with a lot and stuff like that. How many conversations I've had with random people on like cooking. I'll be like, oh, the food is really good, and then that opens up the whole situation of, oh yeah, and I'll be like, oh yeah, because the last time I made it, it's just, these are things that like are good for you to have, because it really like just develops different like facets of your personality and who you are and what you you find interest in. But it also helps you be more relatable to other people as well, because if they only know you as, Miguel, the Sunday school teacher, or if they only know you as Miguel, the preacher or the spoken word artist, those may be things that they personally can identify with. But once they know that you like fashion and like clothing and stuff like that, or you like music, that may be something that they can relate with and have conversations with you as well. That doesn't mean that you have to walk around with a poster. These are the 43 things I find interesting. But every once in a while, you take it out of your tool belt and you like share it with other people, and allow them to get a sneak peek of a little bit more of who you are as a person.
So hopefully this motivates you to kind of do the same, right? And think about those things, and share it with a friend or share it with somebody. Maybe things that you always thought it was insignificant. And I think that that's something where a lot of times when there are things that people don't know about us, right? Or interests or hobbies or whatever, it's almost like we feel like, oh, it's not important, or it's nothing crazy, or I can't really draw. I don't really think I draw what, you know what I mean? And then you connect with someone else like, wait a minute, like I didn't know that. That's so cool. I've always wanted, right? And it like sparks something, and you don't know what friendships or relationships can form over that, like I love cheese, like I love cheese. So it's like, if you want to get me a food, right? Imagine if you want to get me something like a nice cheese stick, like that'll be great. You know what I mean? I like ice cream. I can go down the different flavors, cookies and cream and brownies and chocolate chip cookie dough and butter pecan and all that. You know what I mean? So it's good to know. I always let my students know, by the way.
So every once in a while, they'll...
Yeah. So like Nutella, love Nutella. So anytime it's like Teacher Appreciation Day, Teacher Appreciation Week, my birthday, Christmas, Valentine's Day, leading up to it, I'm just reminding them of all the things I love and enjoy.
That's good. That's a smart way. So they don't bring you like a random something.
Like white chocolate. Like
I don't like white chocolate either,
I can't do white chocolate.
Yeah, I'm more of a dark chocolate. Some people don't like that. They feel like it's too strong. But
I'm milk chocolate, right? But I can do dark chocolate if there's something in it. Like if there's almonds, if there's peanuts, then I can do a dark chocolate. A dark chocolate like that on its own, no. You like dark chocolate?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like they even have like Famous Amos, like those cookies that, usually like regular chocolate chip or whatever. They're dark chocolate chip ones. Perfect. Now,
do you like the chocolate covered cherries or the chocolates that have like that cherry filling inside?
Not the cherry one. My mom loves those, and I find those to be
disgusting.
But a strawberry, like I'll do like
chocolate covered strawberries. Yeah.
Like the pretzels and stuff like that.
Anything chocolate covered pretzels, peanut butter. That's my lane.
Yeah.
Anything salty in chocolate.
Yeah, things like that. At the end of the day, listen, buy it for me. I'll try it. And we'll see.
Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in to our episode. Hopefully
Here's
you got
our
to
P.O.
know.
box so
I know,
that you can,
so you can send us cheese.
Imagine just like a huge wheel of cheese.
We'll but definitely, we hope that you are just encouraged to just, like we said, share your interests and, let somebody know of something that you do or you enjoy doing that they may not know, and you can connect with somebody like that, So definitely be sure to follow us on our socials, on Instagram, Facebook, God Life Culture Podcast. You can watch us on YouTube and check out our visuals there. And, be sure to subscribe to us wherever you listen to your podcast. You can be notified every time we drop a new episode.
Yeah, so thank you once again for tuning into today's episode of the God Life Culture Podcast. That's God Life Culture. Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.